Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Have This Talk. I am happy to have you again, and I'd like to say that I missed you all, and I'm feeling unmissed. I'm feeling not missed. What is happening? I was expecting to get an anticipating message, something like, oh, you're back after 7 minutes of content. Then when is your next episode and what will be happening? What should we be expecting? Nothing like that, and it's baffling me. What is happening, everybody? Please enjoy in my language. That's what it means. I am just kidding, and thank you very much for joining. Thank you for tuning in again. For every time spent on this channel, I appreciate you and I'm so grateful. However, my previous episode is majorly for women and mothers. I'd like you all to refer back to my previous episode to watch, and then just to encourage you, to make you feel good as a woman and to appreciate you generally as a woman and a mother. Thank you very much for tuning back. Thank you for tuning back, rather. This channel is not a perfect channel. I will make mistakes and I will not edit my mistakes. Trust me. So for some of you that may be wondering what's with the eyes and all that, so I am nearsighted and I've had a little bit of issues lately, with things that I like to see very clearly. That's why I have all the contacts. So it's not a fashion contact. It is for me to see and then to see what's ahead of me. Yes. All right. So I'd like to urge you to please subscribe and like. Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate you. And thank you, my returning subscribers. If you're a new subscriber here, you're welcome. God bless you. All right, today's episode is an amazing one. Let's get to it. Yes, you guys. Today's episode is on BPD, as you saw in the previous graphics. So it is known as the borderline personality disorder, BPD for short. All right, this is a mental disorder that deals majorly with the mood and how it affects relationships, and also can be said as some kind of irregularity in behaviors. I joke a lot. I love to laugh. I love to smile. So when I'm saying serious things, sometimes I may just laugh, and I'm sorry for doing that, but this is a very serious situation. This is a serious conversation that we're having. So I like your A game. I like all your attention right here. This involves your younger sister, your younger sibling rather, your child, your niece, your nephew, anyone that is younger than you, that is experiencing adolescence, or that is just going through that adolescent stage, or that is even still a very, very little child, an infant. So it concerns everybody that, has a child around them, or that have children in one way or the other that they care for. It may not be your sibling or your family or blood relative, but it concerns all of you. So please listen attentively. Thank you. Oh, Jerry, as I was saying, people with this very situation, they have lack of emotional control and can be really impulsive. Sadly, it develops in the earliest stage of one's childhood. Please note that. And it is very certain, in fact, not even certain, it has been proven, and this is a fact, a health fact, that many adults roaming about, many adults that we have in the world at large, they have this very personality disorder and they are not aware. You might have it and you're not aware. So this is an important thing that everyone must be aware of, and also must be observant of towards their word or children or wherever, whatever it may be rather. Okay, and so let's discuss how it is developed. Like I said, this is developed from the earliest stage of one's childhood. Okay, and it begins with the parent or the guardian of a child. How? Now, some of our parents growing up, I would like to say African parents, most of them, I don't want to be general with African parents, because I know some people, I've seen some people that did not experience my kind of upbringing while I grew up. So I've noticed that some African parents love their children, take care of their children, care for them as they should, but there is this emotional there's this less of emotional attention, you know, between the parent and the child, and that affects many children today and has affected some adults that were once children. And so our parents, this also depends on the way you talk and act towards your kids, the way you correct them, the way you attend to their needs, and so many other ways. It can be easily developed in a child from the earliest stages, okay? And so I would like to talk about the parents that flog their children. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to put a picture up of some short write-up that I wrote on, I think, Children's Day. I do not remember exactly, but there will be a picture at the end of the video. I would like you all to read it. It would be, you could pause the video at the end of the video, you know, to read it properly. And for those parents that flog their children, I'm not going to say not to spare the rod, okay? You don't have to spare the rod. You can beat your child, or however way you'd like to treat your child. Everybody's way of treating their children is different. But you know, sometimes the way you flog these children can actually affect their emotions. Do we all know that? Some of us just beat our children or our words, and we just think out of love we're correcting them. Then when we're done beating them, we then tell them, I beat you because of this. That is a very good way to attend to your child. But sometimes the way we beat our children, the way some children are flogged, they are flogged like animals in the jungle. I mean, I'm a babu, Zazu. Why would you flog your child like that? Hello, excuse me. Why would you beat your child like an animal, such that people from all over the street or the area are shouting, please calm down, please relax, or somebody is angry at you for beating that child like an animal? And all these things affect children, in as much as they know that they are loved. So part of them is letting them know that, am I that loved to be flogged in this manner? Like, what did I do? So that is one of the things that also causes BPD in a child's earliest stage. Another point in which BPD develops in a child is the pressure put on the first child, is the pressure put on the first child of the family. I'd like to say that this makes them feel pressured. They are pressured most of the time, and so much is expected of them. And so for that reason, they get exhausted being the leader, being, you know, all that is expected of them to be towards their children and even to their parents. And this leads to a lot of caging of emotions inside, which could lead to, I don't know, some mental and emotional distortion in future. Now, I understand that most of us parents, or for those of us that have words here, we were brought up in a way that we believe and that we know that, you know, helped us to be well behaved today and to be good people today. But sadly, most people are suffering from emotional and mental distortions, but they do not know. And that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about your own word that you're bringing up in the same manner in which you were brought up. And I'm telling you that they in their minds, they are thinking they have to live the perfect lives, you know, they have to portray this particular thing. And trust me, they want to be children. They want to be children. They know there's a second child, third child, fourth child, or how many children that there are, but they want to be children. To allow them be children, that pressure gets to them and it affects them in ways that you don't know. And some of these things become memories that are stuck in their mental states that becomes trauma later in future. So it can be likened to trauma, however way, so that I'm not exaggerating things. But I'm telling you that pressure put on them, can make this, can get this BPD developed in them in the earliest stage of childhood, or even as they're growing to that state of their adolescence. So please note this. To buttress my previous point, I'd like to talk about the female child. I am a female child advocate in as much as I am a mental health advocate. And sometime later in future, I'd like to become an advocate for children. That's both genders and not choose just one higher than the other. But I'm a female, so sorry if I put girls first. All right, so sometimes, or some of you parents have turned your female wards to mothers, automatic mothers. You have made your first daughter the mother of the household. Why? Please. I saw a video on TikTok recently of some lady that was complaining and crying in her car, talking about how her parents ruined her life, complaining about how they made her go through some things that she wasn't supposed to go through as a young child. She didn't specifically say those things, which I was hoping she would say them so that I would note them down and talk about them here. But she said those things and she was crying, and then said now she's older and she's out of the house. They are passing that responsibility now to a younger sibling. That's the one after her, her immediate younger sibling. And then she was telling her parents that please don't do this the way you did this to me. Don't treat this second child like you treated me while growing up. And the parents said, what do you mean? It has gotten you to where you are today. I mean, it has helped you be this great person that you are. And then she's like, no, you ruined my life, you did this, you did that. But her parents did not see the sense in what she was saying, and she kept tagging it as African parents. And I'm sorry, in as much as African parents too have their own, every other parent in the whole world, they have their own too. It's not just African parents it's not just African parents that can be emotionless sometimes towards their children. It's all over the world. Please, for some of you that expected a male child to come first and then the female child came second, and then because of that disappointment, you try to make that first the male child be the lord and the king of the house, making your female child that came first to feel inferior to that male child. I'm telling you that you're destroying the lives of the male child and your female child. You may have wanted a female child to come first, but God blessed you with a female child first. And in all that you're doing, please stop it. Some tribes in Nigeria, if they don't have a male child first, it's a sin. In fact, if they have their ways to start killing off children that come as females first, I'm sure that will still keep happening. Maybe happened in the past. I don't want to even think about that at all. But if that could happen, I'm sure in the minds of some people that are very traditional, they would like to make that happen. Please, you are indirectly damaging the lives of your children. There is no need for this competition you're bringing up or you're stirring up in their hearts. You're creating BPD in advance. Children don't get traumatized because they are hurt. They get traumatized because they are alone with the hurt. Says what? Dr. Gabo, I beg of you people, I beg of everyone, I beg of you watching this video, please don't allow your children grow up with hatred in their hearts, showing you that they love you now or telling you they love you later doesn't mean that they cannot start hating you later. Everyone's mind is different. Some people, have grown up to be strong-willed, strong-minded and all that, but I'm telling you, some little things that you're depositing in the lives of these children rather, can turn that love to hatred. God help you all. Children get depressed too. Children do get depressed. And some parents are very oblivious to this very situation. I know some of you say, it's my child, they are my children. I am training them to be good. I'm training them to be this and that. They will grow up to know that it was love and I loved them and it was for their own good. Once upon a damaged child. I am telling you, children with this, or adults now, or adolescents with BPD, borderline personality disorder, have difficulties in creating relationships later in future, even as young as they are. You would notice that some of them are saying, I don't have friends. It's not because they don't have friends, it's because they are not eager to have friends. You have damaged something in these children, lives of these children. From your own relationship with your child, you have caused them to not want to grow up to have friends or to grow relationships with other people because they believe they will be judged, or they believe they would not be appreciated, or they believe there's this expectation that has to be fulfilled before they can meet up the criteria of being friends with such persons. And I'm telling you, if they develop this BPD because of your insensitive behaviors or ignorance towards them, it could derail their lives totally and completely. And I'm telling you, let me just be biblical or scriptural a bit. For every parent here, or for every guardian here, I'm telling you, in the last days, for those of you that believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, in the last days, you will be judged for your children's behaviors or for your children's acts or characters or anything that they may have, exhibited, through which you could have corrected or through which you may have indirectly or unconsciously caused them to do or be. For of those that are looking up to God for children, or for those that have words around them, your child or not your child, beware of all these things that I've mentioned. If you're seeing any of these things, start taking notes now and look for means and ways to correct them. It can be easily corrected from their early childhood days, but once they are adolescents and they are adults, I'm sorry, you have a very long way to go. Now, how to attend to this situation of BPD as soon as possible? According to National Institute of Mental Health, NIH for short, BPD is usually diagnosed in late adolescence or early adulthood. Occasionally, a person younger than age 18 may be diagnosed with BPD, the borderline personality disorder, if symptoms are significant and last at least a year. And it often occurs alongside with other mental illnesses such as PTSD, that post-traumatic stress disorder, and can be likened to even other ones like bipolar disorder, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, eating disorders, and so many other disorders as there are. All right. And one solution that is very, very easy to attend to as quickly as possible is therapy. I know many of you will frown at this. I know many of you will frown at this. Some of you don't like to hear the word therapy because it's for mental people. Mental people, Abby. That's the English we like to use. You don't mental, you don't ment. It means your mind, apparently, but that mind can also be can be damaged or can be affected in several ways. Now, one way is to go for therapy with your child. You could either, attend family therapy, that therapy where the main client or the person being counseled or treated would attend with the family members or any member of the family at the expense of your own happiness and your own feeling of satisfaction as to, I'm training my child, I'm helping them. You may be damaging your child's own happiness and their own state of mind from being a positive one and the one that is the most beautiful for many amazing people to partake of or to learn from and stuff. So please, it's important you have to attend therapy. And I'd like to discuss that there are two forms of therapy that could be used in this very situation. One is called the DBT, dialectical behavior or dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT for short. I'd like you to check Google, make your findings to know what this form of therapy entails. There's also the other one, which is called CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapist. And in future, I hope to be one and also a counseling psychologist. All right, so in this DBT, it's a variant of the CBT, that's the cognitive behavioral therapist, and it's often used to treat the symptoms of PDs, that's personality disorders. Okay, and it has helped lots of people in the world today at large that you guys would not know, and so it is highly recommended for those that have BPD. All right, and then CBT in this case also it helps with people that see the world in a negative way, people that have negative thought patterns and that also exhibit negative behaviors. That's the work of CBT, to correct those things and to help them live their lives in a more amazing way, that they would not be feeling inferior mentally or be feeling all forms of negative feelings. And CBT also can be used to cure other personality disorders like anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and some other ones, but not really some chronic ones. Just read about all those things and you know what I'm talking about. And I know lots of you will be thinking like, where do I start from? Therapy is very expensive. How do I help my child? What do you suggest that I do? Okay, so in Nigeria, I don't know about other countries in Africa, or I don't know how it is for other people, but I know there are some platforms where people can access therapy, some free of charge and some with just a little amount of money. And I'm going to introduce again to you Nguvu Health, as displayed on the screen. Nguvu Health is a teletherapy platform that can be easily accessed. They have their app on Google Play Store, as it's been displayed, and on Twitter they can be easily accessible right there. They are good with things, like sharing how you feel, or ranting. There's this particular space in the app that you can rant, you can say how you feel, you can express what it is that you're going through. And Nguvu Health is affordable, very, very affordable. You can attend therapy for as low as 3,000 naira. Yes, you heard me right, 3,000 naira. But there are some benefits to it, and there are also some disadvantages to it. I mean, for every good thing, it's not like it's perfect and acceptable rather for everyone. But I'd like to tell you that Nguvu Health is where you can start from with your ward or your child. And the more serious the problem is, the more money you would have to spend. And just as the way we spend so much on our health for some checkups and diseases or whatever treatments that we're doing in terms of our health now, therapy is very expensive. Therapy sometimes can even be more expensive than the regular treatments that we get from our doctors every now and then. And so I hear a lot of people say, hey, I saw on Twitter recently where somebody was saying something like oh my god, I tried to sign up for a therapy session, and then I was seeing all their prices, and I was seeing something about 40,000 plus, and I told myself, lie, I'd rather take care of my mental health. I'd rather get my head correctly than be looking for ways to go for therapy. But in some situations where you have problems and you have to deal with them as soon as possible, and you cannot just talk to people, you can't just talk to a random person, because everybody has different opinions. Trust me, they will confuse you. But therapy, involves professionals, a group of professionals or some professionals that can guide you through your situation, help you, correct you, and it is always for a positive result. It's not just to hear your problems and then to advise you on what to do. Sometimes some therapy involves you suggesting things that can help you get better, that can relieve your mind of whatever burdens that you're going through. Some therapies are like that. I'm not going into that right now, but there are several of them. Okay, but in the case of Nguvu Health here, you can just get the app on Google Play Store. Get the app on Google Play Store, check it out, and do what you have to do. This brings us to the end of today's episode on Let's Have This Talk. I'd like to urge everyone, okay, for those of you that would like to start observing your wards or your siblings, nieces and nephews, please do so. All right, it's very important that you discover what's happening at this stage before it gets to a stage of no return. All right, and please don't go looking at your friends. And some of you like to catch cruise here, some of us adults that like to behave as we like. Please don't go to your friends looking at them and saying, you will have BPD, or this one has BPD. You may have BPD yourself and you do not know. So please don't make this a joke. It's a very serious situation. It's not funny. Okay, however way you can help your friends or those around you, please do so. I am in this age, or we're in this age where Gen Zs are growing up now, and we are realizing that the way we were brought up with iron hands and to behave well physically, the emotional part, the mental part was excluded, and now we are realizing that when we start having children, we would want to be better towards our children. I'm a Gen Z, and so trust me, I'm learning every day, and I want the best for those coming in the future. And please, I want to urge everyone to subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed, if you're a new subscriber here, thank you. God bless you. You're welcome. And like this channel and comment. Let me know how you feel. If you think I missed out on anything that you'd like me to be aware of, when the whole world you would like them to know about, please let them know. Please let them know. Comment what you think, what you feel. If you disagree with anything that I said, we could make it an interactive section, or session rather, in the comments. We could make it interactive. That's why it's Let's Have This Talk. It's not I want to talk to you. Let's have this talk. Ejekasoro. That is Let's Have This Talk in my language. All right. So I would be expecting to be missed. I'll be expecting to be texted and to be reached out to on stuff like, when is your next episode? I really enjoyed your last episode, and further conversations that are just sweet to my ears. Okay. And yes, thank you all so much. I appreciate your time spent here. It's amazing always doing this with every one of you. I wish you an amazing day today, the best of days today. And I also wish you a fruitful and a wonderful week. God bless you. Stay safe mentally, physically, inwardly, in everywhere that you can be safe, okay? And go in peace. See you in our next episode on Let's Have This Talk. Bye.